Thanks again for joining. We are so excited to have you here. And I am really excited to introduce you to Pulsora and share with you how our platform is built to help companies prepare for and disclose against regulations, today with a focus on the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, also known as the CSRD. And so first today, I will do quick introductions. Then we'll take a look at CSRD key requirements and compliance considerations. And from there, we'll move into the Pulsora solution. We'll address critical steps along the way to ensure CSRD compliance. And I will do a demo of Pulsora's CSRD solution. And we will save time at the end for any questions. So if you have those as we go along the way, please feel free to submit those using the chat. And I would also like to note that we are recording this session, so you'll all receive the recording in a follow-up email. And so first, my name is Brooke. I'm a product marketer here at Pulsora. I'm really excited to have you all with us today, and I'm joined by my colleague, Daryush Mistry, and I'll let him say hello as well.
Thanks, Brooke. Hi, everyone. My name is Daryush Mistry, and I head product here at Pulsora. Excited to be here and share with you information about CSRD and Pulsora, and looking forward to answering all your questions. Back to you.
Thank you. Yeah, so please send those questions in. We'll have time at the end, and Daryush can help out there. So I'd also like to quickly introduce Pulsora for anyone who might need a refresher or not as familiar. Pulsora is the all-in-one platform for enterprise sustainability management, and we empower companies to better manage their sustainability footprint. We are a global team of over 170 team members with over 500 companies around the world using our platform today. And our comprehensive solution is purpose-built and designed to meet regulatory reporting requirements and ensure transparency in sustainability data across entities, global locations, funds, and investments in all jurisdictions. The Pulsora platform enables complete value chain data collection, audit and assurance-ready data, and it helps you manage sustainability processes all in one place. And this includes carbon accounting. And it's really built to position you for success today and in the future as ESG reporting and regulations are bound to evolve. So for today's focus, let's dig in to the CSRD, and we'll first review a few fundamentals regarding their legislation. So the CSRD was adopted in the European Union in January 2023 with the first wave of disclosure requirements due in 2025, and this is based on 2024 data. The regulation creates common standards for companies to report sustainability information to stakeholders. And so part of the objective here was to create transparency with respect to sustainability information. And effectively, it's meant to address the problem of fragmented and non-comparable ESG information that is currently reported by some companies. This regulation has a massive and far-reaching impact. So within the first few years that the regulation is being phased in, this will impact approximately 50,000 companies around the world. So when it comes to key requirements, there are really three areas that companies need to account for. And the first requirement is to disclose against what's called the European Sustainability Reporting Standards, or the ESRS. So let's define the CSRD versus the ESRS. Whereas the CSRD is the regulation itself, the ESRS are the backbone to the regulation as they provide the specific detailed guidelines and metrics for companies to follow when preparing their sustainability reports. And the ESRS cover a wide range of environmental, social, and governance topics. And in just a few minutes, you'll see how the Pulsora CSRD solution is built directly from the ESRS. And so for companies to articulate which ESRS metrics that they need to focus on and disclose against, they will first conduct what's called a double materiality assessment. And you will only disclose on matters that are proven as material to your business. This assessment has two dimensions, impact materiality as well as financial materiality. And just to dig in on those a little bit, a sustainability matter is material from an impact perspective when it pertains to the company's impacts on people or the environment. And then a sustainability matter is material from a financial perspective if it triggers or could trigger material financial effects on the company. And so amongst the set of ESRS metrics, a matter will be considered material if it meets the criteria for impact, materiality, or financial, or both. Lastly, companies need to obtain assurance of reported information. This is really a critical component of compliance. That means every piece of data collected and reported must be auditable. And for many companies, these three requirements represent entirely new processes that companies are working to figure out. And so just to focus a little bit more on the ESRS and really understand how extensive these metrics are, these are going to be really comprehensive. The ESRS are made up of a total of 12 different standards. 2 are cross-cutting, so really making up the general requirements and disclosures, and the remaining 10 will span across topics covering environmental, social, or governance. Within environmental, this could be anything from climate change to pollution to water and marine resources. Regarding social, this could be your workforce, both your direct workforce and the workforce that makes up your supply chain, as well as local communities, consumers, and end users. And then governance is really going to be about business conduct. And what you're seeing here in the presentation is really just a very small snapshot of the metrics that make up the ESRS. And so where is this data coming from? The data required by the ESRS could really come from every corner of your organization. And this means not only cross-departmentally from places like HR or legal, but also from the many entities that make up your value chain around the world. And so such comprehensive data requirements necessitate adequate time to make sure you're able to collect the right data from the right place in the format that you need to comply. Okay, so with the key requirements in mind, there's definitely a lot to consider when it comes to compliance. So we'll just make our way through a few areas here. The CSRD, as noted, is a comprehensive regulation. It includes 12 reporting standards, 86 disclosure requirements, over 100 KPIs, and in some cases, companies reporting on more than 1,100 data points. And these processes, and specifically the data collection process, must be audit ready. And so keeping in mind also that this is a new regulation that will evolve over time, it's important to consider setting yourself up with a system that can ensure future reporting cycles are reflective of the most up-to-date CSRD requirements. And so while the requirements for the initial reporting year are sector agnostic, in the next few years, what we'll see are really more specific requirements come into play. And so this could be for small to medium-sized enterprises, as well as sector-specific standards for industries such as mining, oil and gas, road transport, agriculture, and more. So finally, time is of the essence. For companies subject to reporting in 2025 on 2024 data, now is really the time to get systems and processes in place. And just to focus on timeline a little bit more, this is really a high-level estimated timeline of what you and your team could be looking at. But really, this is going to be dependent on your company and on your organization. So very case-specific here. But even so, if you're having conversations and someone might say this can be done quickly in a matter of weeks, that just really won't be the case. There are a few different phases that you have to consider when it comes to preparation. And so first, there's the completion of the double materiality assessment. And then there's also the researching and selecting the right platform that will help you meet the CSRD deadline. There's the implementation phase of this platform. And that will really also depend on the complexity of your value chain. And then moving into defining the ESRS metrics that are material to your business and collecting the right data to populate these metrics, as well as then obtaining assurance of your data. Finally, disclosing, preparing your report and disclosing. So just a few different phases to consider. Okay, so with our compliance considerations in mind, knowing that we have only so much time, where does Pulsora come into play and how can we help you solve for this? So really, our platform is flexible to fit your CSRD reporting requirements. This is the journey we're going to take today as we go through the platform. And so in order to produce your CSRD disclosure, Pulsora will guide you step by step, all the way from collecting the data that you need to consolidating this data in one central repository. And with that data collection, having different options for how you might need to collect that data. And this consolidated area, the repository for your data, will also be able to include your carbon data. And you'll also see within Pulsora that you can calculate your carbon emissions directly within the Pulsora platform. And so lastly, there's reporting and compliance, and you'll be able to produce your disclosure in the format that you need with all included data auditable. So earlier I noted the nature of the ESRS metrics really mean that this is a cross-functional collaborative process. As we go through the Pulsora demo today, you will see how the platform really encourages and empowers your team to work together, whether it's across departments or really with engaging your entire value chain and the people that make up that value chain who will need to provide you with data. So we'll look at all of the different roles and personas that will be engaging in your data collection process. Okay, and so where are we going to end up? We have an example here of our CSRD disclosure in the format that we need. So we're seeing a docx file. We're also seeing that XBRL format for machine readability. So this is where we'll end up, and let us see how we'll get there. Okay, so once you land on your Pulsora homepage, you're going to have quick access to a few different areas of the platform. First and foremost, you're going to see any tasks that need your attention today. And tasks are relevant to your data collection processes. And just keep in mind, this can be any sustainability initiative. Today, our focus is CSRD, but I did want to note that for any sustainability or reporting initiative, all the features today that you'll see can apply. And once I keep scrolling down, I will have access to any analytics dashboards, as well as any existing reports that might be in flight, as well as what we call our data sources. So this will involve integrations to existing systems, and we'll take a look at these as well. But first, we're going to start with what we call our Pulsora catalogs. And this is going to be that consolidated area where all the data will end up. And we're going to take a look at our CSRD disclosure catalog today. And so we went in right through the homepage, but you also have access to different product components using our side navigation bar as well. So within our CSRD disclosure catalog, we are going to see those ESRS metrics that are material to our business. And so what you're seeing here is over 100 topics and nearly 800 metrics. And these are representing those ESRS metrics. This catalog is built directly from that framework. And just to note here, this is from what we're seeing with our current customers today that are going through the preparation process. The 700 number is right in that range of what these are global organizations, and this is what they're working on currently. And so as I drill down into the metrics themselves, again, organized by that ESRS topic, within each topic, I'm going to see those metrics listed out that I need to work on and go about and collect that data. So I have the ability to go ahead and click into each metric within my catalog. And first, I'm going to check out and see the exact instructions as it relates to this metric. And so this, again, is coming directly from the ESRS, and the platform's really going to guide you and your team as you go about collecting this data. So I do have the option within my metric details page to go ahead and get this metric updated. You'll notice that when I'm as I attempt to update this data, I'm being prompted to provide an explanation. And so what you're seeing here is a validation rule has been set, and the users with the appropriate permissions are able to do so. So you and your team members can work through this to make sure the data is coming in the way that you want it, and the format that you want. You have the ability to set those validations, and this will really be critical also when you're engaging all of the entities that make up your value chain. These validation rules are really going to guide them as they provide you with the data that you're looking for. And if I keep scrolling down here on the metric details level, I'm also going to see evidence and audit. And so this is going to be an audit trail that is logged immediately when the data is populated, when the data is changed. You're going to get to see the user, the date, the value, how the data is being changed. And for every metric in my CSRD catalog, this is going to be updated. And really, this is the component that's going to make all of your data auditable, and really play a huge role in that audit process. And depending on the metric, should you want to or need to provide evidence files, you have the ability to do that as well. Okay, so we just checked out the process to get one metric updated manually, but we want to check out and look at getting data into the system at scale and in the most efficient way possible. So in addition to the manual updates that, of course, we can always make in the catalog, we also have our data sources as well as requests. So we'll check those out next in terms of getting data into the system. And again, with data collection, depending on the data that you're collecting, you can really use whichever method makes sense for you and your team. What we're seeing here with data sources is the ability to connect to existing applications that might have the data that we're looking for. And so once you set these integrations up, you'll be able to automatically populate those ESRS metrics with the data. And so again, all of the data coming into that one central place. And so here, what we're seeing are connections. In this example, we have Concur, we have Workday, we have Oracle connected. These integrations can represent exactly what you need, and can be flexible. And you also have the option to set up FTP file uploads. We do also provide templates to help you do that as it regards carbon emissions data. So that's going to help you and your team format the carbon data, get it uploaded into Pulsora, and then actually make your way over into our GHG calculators, which we will take a look at. And those templates really will help to streamline that process as well. So we checked out manual updating. We've just taken a look at data sources. Let's head on over to our request workflows. And this is really the area of data collection that's going to help you engage with all of those entities that make up your value chain around the world, wherever they may be. You'll see here we have an existing CSRD collection request. We're going to take a look at that. But before I do, just to really let you know how this all works, in your initial phases of getting set up with Pulsora, you will define your organizational hierarchy. And so you'll clarify exactly which organizations need to provide you with data, and they will actually be invited directly into Pulsora to provide you with that data. And that's at no additional cost. So your company, you are the ones licensing the Pulsora platform. However, you can get those organizations invited so long as they're just reporting directly up to you, and that will be set for their instance. They receive an email notification. They're welcomed to get that data back to you. So let's take a look at this request here. This is an existing request. You have the option to go ahead and create new ones, and there's really no limit to how many requests you can create here. You'll set these request details so your responding entity knows exactly what you're looking for. And all of this data, again, is going to end up back in your consolidated ESRS catalog. So populating those metrics that you're working towards as part of your CSRD compliance. You will be able to set this due date. So you'll have visibility into your due date. Your responding entity will have visibility into your due date, and you're all working together towards that due date to stay on task. From here, once you get this request set up, you'll select the exact metrics that you're looking for as it relates to those specific organizations that you're requesting data from. And you can go ahead and confirm and send the request out. And so depending on your value chain, this could really look like several requests happening at once, depending on the number of entities. So we want to make sure you and your team have the ability to manage all of these different request workflows. What we've done is built out task management. We did see these tasks listed on the homepage as well. But when we navigate over into task management, you're going to see all the tasks listed out here, as well as the status, the organization that they've been sent to, and really that due date. You're going to have the organizational hierarchy represented here on this page as well. So if you need to drill down at that level, you're able to do so. And for anyone who prefers maybe a visual representation of the status of all these requests, you can also leverage Pulsora Analytics to help you and your team keep track. So we do have a dashboard here for response rate tracking. And it's really just going to help you quickly get that visual display of what's happening with all of your requests. So in addition to the data request details listed out, we can quickly see those that have been completed, those where the task has been created, and maybe no contact. So just another way to help you and your team manage that data collection process. So just to summarize what we've checked out, so we've looked at our ESRS catalog. That's the set of metrics material to our business. We've made our way through data collection, so the different methods of which we can get data into Pulsora to get those ESRS metrics updated. We saw the audit trail being updated as well in our catalog. And so some of the data that may be required as it pertains to your business within the environmental topic area of the ESRS could be carbon emissions data. So I do want to touch on that next, as that could be a component of your data collection as you go about populating those ESRS metrics. So we'll navigate over to Pulsora's carbon management feature. And what you'll find here are our GHG calculators spanning all 3 scopes. So we have scope 1, scope 2, and all 15 categories of scope 3 for you and your team to use in order to get those calculations conducted. And I will note that these calculators are built in alignment with the GHG protocol methodology. So we can dive in, we'll take a look at scope 2. And so regardless of how you're getting your carbon data into the system, it might be through an integration or uploading data, you're going to see this data represented in your calculators so you can go ahead and conduct those calculations. And so within scope 2, we're going to see a list of transactional data here. And you can dive deeper into each transaction to go to the next level and get those activity details. And so what you're going to see here, in addition to the details about the transaction itself, you're also going to see the other information relevant to getting the calculations conducted. And that's going to include emissions factor details as well, both location and market-based. And so as you and your team use the GHG calculators within Pulsora, you're benefiting from our extensive emissions factor dataset library. And so this is a global library. We keep it up to date, and that's going to be an area that's going to support you and your team as you go about these calculations. And if I keep scrolling down, importantly, what we also see at this level, we see our any evidence files, as well as another automated audit log. So this is going to be represented at the transactional data level within the scope 2 calculator, as well as our other calculators. You're also going to have that audit log. This is in addition to the auditing that's happening back in your catalog, your CSRD catalog. So anywhere auditing needs to happen, it's happening within Pulsora. And just to note, you're going to see that organizational hierarchy represented here as well. So when it comes to your carbon data, you can drill down by whether it be facility, supplier, whatever that organization might be, you can drill down at this level as well. Okay, so we've gone through our catalog, we've touched on data collection, we've also touched on a specific type of data, which is our GHG data. We are ready to check out reporting. And so this is the phase of the process. Once we've gotten our CSRD disclosure catalog populated, the metrics are looking good, we've collected all the data, we are ready to go into our reporting feature and get the disclosure prepared and generated. So this is our CSRD sustainability statement. It is pulling directly from all of the metrics that were represented in our catalog. we have the option of file type over here. We're seeing CSV as well as docx. Would like to note you also have the option for XBRL in terms of machine readability. But for today, I will go ahead and get a docx example generated. And you'll be able to see here, we have our disclosure prepared. Okay, and so now I will head back over into our presentation. This is what we just took a look at regarding our reports. The disclosures are prepared in the format that we need, and the data is auditable, as I noted throughout the presentation. These were the steps we took just to summarize. So we went through the different methods of data collection. We got the data into our one consolidated catalog representing our ESRS metrics. We were able to, when necessary, use those GHG calculators to get that data updated as well. And then we moved on to reporting and generating our report to get the disclosure submitted. And all of the data was auditable. Okay, so with that, just really would like to thank everyone for joining. And I think we did get some questions. So I'll see if we can answer some of those right now. Just, here we go. Okay, so I'm seeing one, I'll read this out loud. Are there any features offered related to the DMA or gap assessment? So given that our CSRD disclosure will be informed, specialized based on the results of our DMA gap assessment, how does that look and work in the platform? Dariush, you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So all the ESRS data points that you saw in Pulsora are classified based on the ESRS topics, subtopics, and subtopics. So based on your double materiality assessment or gap analysis, you would be able to filter down or select the ESRS data points that are relevant and material to your business based on your double materiality assessment. So that is built into the data set that we have for the ESRS data points, and you'd be able to leverage it based on your double materiality assessment.
Great, thank you. And then we have another question here. So how does entering metrics such as tables work? I'm going to actually have Dariush answer that one as well.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think one of the things you might have seen as Brooke was going through the catalog is we support all qualitative and quantitative, data points and ways to provide data into the platform. And this is regardless of whether you're doing it through the API or, as a user, human entering data. Specifically for tables, we have an input type defined that allows you to leverage, for the ESRS data points, any of the, data that needs to be collected in a tabular fashion or reported in a tabular fashion. And you also have the ability to transform this data. So if there was any data that you were collecting as individual data points, but you need to report in a certain tabular fashion, you can also transform it via our, configurable report layouts and present it as tabular data if needed as well.
Great. And so we got a question, will we send out the recording? And that is yes. So for anyone who registered, you will receive this recording today. We have another question here. Is your solution already multi-language ready, French, German, etc.? Yes, we do have those languages and additional languages available. If you get in touch with our team, we can provide more information on that as well. We do have a question here. So are any features offered related to the double materiality assessment? Dariush, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, I think this is similar to the previous question that we answered. So what we do is work with the double materiality assessment that a company would have conducted as part of their process or journey towards reporting to CSRD or even otherwise. And the platform can work with any of the double materiality assessment assessments that you would have done. regardless of CSRD as well. And the way it works is you can then filter down to or identify the data points that you need specifically for your business. So the catalog that Brooke walked us through is essentially fully configurable by each business based on their business requirements and their materiality assessments of what's material to them. So that's how you would bring in your double materiality assessment or gap assessment and be able to identify data points or metrics that you can then work with, as part of your data collection and reporting lifecycle.
Great. And I think we just have time for maybe one more question. And it's one question we have: does the platform offer simpler explanations or examples for better understanding of some of the ESRS? And so I guess I will say, when I was noting the instructions within the catalog, those are built directly from the ESRS, which I think that's how I would answer that. Dariush, do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, I think one way to think about it is, the instructions in there can also point you to the specific, backing source of that data point. So you'd be able to look at more detailed information available from ESRS for those specific data points as well. What we've done is transform those ESRS data points into metrics that, we can provide to our customers through the platform, based on what the definition of the ESRS data point is.
Great. And I think that actually does it for questions. These were really excellent questions. Thank you all for the engagement today. If you have further questions, please do reach out and get in touch with our team. And again, we just really hope this session was helpful, and we're grateful for all of those who attended today.